Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is part 3 of my retreat Ballarat shopping experience with the girls that attended Susanna's Vintage Blend Studio retreat last week. We were stitching the panel, the little critters is playing in the undergrowth, the bunnies. The panel is available on Susanna's website, so if you did want to grab yourself a panel, if you saw something that inspired you. So this is the final video in the little series. The first one was welcome to the retreat and seeing what we're all doing. The second one was out and about, having a look at the countryside and doing some shopping. And this video is the results of that shopping. So I've got a pile in front of me and a pile to the side of me. No particular order. I've roughly separated things. So hopefully I can sort of remember what I did, where I did and where I got it from. But we'll see how we go. All right, firstly, Soulful Stitch, Cass Holmes' new book. This was gifted to me by the lovely Vanessa. It is just gorgeous. I did see it for sale at Gail's Patchwork emporium, so if this catches your eye and you think it's something you want to add to your library, yeah, it's a beauty. I did a Cass Holmes online course a little while back now and completed a piece, and it was so much fun. It just I guess it brings in the element of the sewing machine into our work, as you can see by this piece here. Oh, look at that light. Hang on guys, let's turn one of these lights off because it's just too bright. Yeah, that's better. We've got a really rainy, cloudy day here Sunday. We've had some serious rain from the cyclone that is still hanging around southeast Queensland, northern New South Wales, and the top of the cyclone is where I'm positioned now, the top edge. Well, Harvey Bay got absolutely drenched this morning, so we've just woken up to flash flooding and it's just chaos everywhere, basically. This cyclone, instead of dropping and going, it has given us reasonably destructive winds along coastlines, but then it has hung around for days and days, and it's still not going to go anywhere, and now it's just flooding us. So yeah, lots of little towns and remote areas and city areas are just getting absolute deluge. So stay safe everyone. Gosh, I tell you, I just don't like picking up the phone anymore. It's like, oh, where's it hit now? Anyway, I'm safe, I'm dry, it's all good at the moment. Implement cyclones. Tell you what, I guess just retreat to my craft room and have a look through some of these gorgeous books. So if this one catches your eye, it is out there, it is available. I like how Cass sketches things first and creates a bit of an understanding of the item, and then once she gets that detail, I guess, out of your system, she then breaks it down into a more simplistic piece and then stitches. She's got a real process. If you get a chance to do an online course of hers, yeah, definitely recommend it. Well worth it. Aren't they just gorgeous, those little pots? So as you go through this book, she does bring in other artists that you can see a little bit of a touch base with that artist with some imagery from them, which is just value for yourself if you do invest in some of these books. Pockets, look at the old flour sack. What a gorgeous image of a woman. Oh. Look at that. What just caught my eye there? Something up there. Look at that. It's like cut lace that she's created something that she's cut it out. Oh, anyway, get sidetracked. So definitely, thank you, Vanessa. This, yeah, just gorgeous. And there's Fudgy on cue. Fudgy is good. Look at the pleats in this outfit, and you can see little faces popping through from the fabric. You probably can't distinguish that. Look at that embroidery. Fudgy is good. Fudgy missed his mum. Fudgy's been sticking to me like glue, and we've had lots of cuddles. So he is good. Hey, you survived. He's a good boy. So this one here, as part of our retreat, the lovely Susanna took us on a little road trip to Alison Cole's workshop. And oh my goodness, now Alison is well known for her stump work. You would have seen a short video in her workshop showing some of her pieces. This book was available for sale, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to invest in this because this is pushing my boundaries. This is potentially learning something new. And oh my goodness, it is just beautiful. There was a butterfly book I did consider, but I thought, you know, this is enough. She had kits. It was really, really cool. Pussy. So that's my little Alison Cole. I haven't had a good look through it. See the foam, the felt going down and then stitching over it. Oh goodness, look at that. There's the felt being stitched down, shape and texture being put into the felt, ridges, and then embellishing with the beautiful threads. She had threads there that I've just never seen before. Gold threads that would just, look at the mushrooms. Just beautiful. Very, very clever lady. Now at Alison's, I picked up a few pieces that were very much out of my comfort zone, which I thought was a good investment. So this little pack is cotton. I don't think this is actually put together by Alison. There's another business name on the back. And what I got in here are some little cocoons. I've seen some of the fellow YouTubers using these. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to grab this little pack, and it's just something different for me, which may inspire a piece one day. I don't have anything like this in my collection. And then some threads. Just gorgeous. And then the piece of felt. So who knows what that will bring. Very much out of my comfort zone. Then I've picked up this piece here. It's got an edge about it that allows you to shape. And I just love the colours. Pussycat, let me just pat the fudge. Hey, Fudgy. So that was my Alison Cole bits and bobs. So let me just pop that down. I've got one hand on the cat as well. I love Fudgy, it's all good. Oh, I picked up this at Alison Cole. I've never really played with hardware for purses, bags and things like that. And I saw this there and I could see the colour through the wrapper. I didn't open it at the time. That one hand on the cat. Come on, please. One hand on the cat. And I thought, you know what? What is in there? I will... oh my goodness. Isn't that just beautiful? Wow. Aren't you a very pretty little piece? There's birds there. Gosh. Here's a future project. Isn't that gorgeous? All right. Hardware for a future something. Okay, next little parcel here. Went to Belen. We had coffee with some of the girls that were heading back to Melbourne. And just behind the Zest Cafe is Chrissy's Treasures, which is a favourite where you can go and pick up all sorts of little bits and bobs. So I picked up these two little charms. I like the idea that they were in two different sizes. And I also picked up a mat. It's just here. I took with me my felt mat, which like the one I'm filming on here. And then this was at Chrissy's, an itty bitty one. And I thought that's perfect for when I travel. I've still got something that I can work on without having to cart, you know, a very big mat. So that was a bit of a find. So while I'm going, I might just grab my tin. Bear with me. I've got an old tin here that I keep all of my zipper charms in, and, you know, dingle dangles to add to things. So I'm going to slide those into there. Whoops, things sliding off the table. Might as well, oh, that could go in there too. Just morsels to put onto things. Tin. A tin for morsels that attach to other things. There we go. All right, now, like I said, no particular order. Now, Vanessa decided to do a panel that had a Beatrix Potter theme, and she bought a pack of fabric, and at the same time Susanna and her sister Yolka bought the panel that went with that series. So they asked me if I wanted one of the little images, and I'm a bit of a fan of Jemima Puddle Duck. I just think she was a sassy duck, and I loved her when I was a little girl. So the girls gifted me Jemima, and then they said, take another one. So I grabbed this little mouse, and I don't know anything about her, so that's my homework. I need to dig out my Beatrix Potter books and see where Apply Dapply fits into the stories. I don't know. I can't remember her. So I've got those two little pieces, and then the lovely Vanessa went through her fabric pack and pulled out some of the fabrics that were included. Thank you so much, Vanessa. You're so generous. So if you are looking to do a project, maybe for a little person, a grandchild, or, you know, just a small little child, and you like working with Beatrix Potter, this is a range that we saw at Gales. That fabric there caught my eye. And it's not even screaming Beatrix Potter. It's just such a pretty colour. Some general fabrics with Jemima. I don't know what I'm going to make, but I will do something one day. I actually felt like getting out my cross-stitch pattern. I've got, it's a book from Leisure Art years ago, and it's all of the characters, and each one's probably 5 inches by 5 inches. And I actually thought, you know what? I could stitch a Jemima and just add it to this pack, and who knows what project will come in the future, but it's like a little bundle of Jemima being created. Okay, so the next thing I pick up is actually my ginger jar. So I did a lot of seed stitch on my little ginger jar, put it up the right way. So I don't know if you can see amongst the flowers. The only thing I have left to do now is bring in some more detail into the flowers with a darker thread and add my little beads. It was a real mixed comments on what colour you thought I should go with, but I sort of like the comments were a little bit of everything, not pick one particular pearly colour, because it was like a calico, a dark and a light version, and then a real pearly colour. So that's my project this week. Before I head away for 3 weeks to America, I want to complete this ginger jar. There will be probably a prompt while I'm away, probably not next weekend. Yeah, maybe next weekend. I don't know. I've just sort of shelved the project until I get back. So at least my ginger jar is done. And like I've said before, this won't be attached to my panel until the very end, because until I know all the prompts and their size and what I do, I'm sort of just keeping everything fluid. And at the very end, everything will get attached. So that's how I'm approaching it. I ended up putting a little laundry label here. These were gifted to me by the lovely Rachel. So I thought, well, that's pretty fitting. So I've stitched the little 45 here on the pottery, and that's my little lid. This will get trimmed out when I'm finished and then just turned over to create a rolled nice edge and then stitched down. So ginger jar is coming along. I did do my homework, just need to add the beads. So that's really good. Now I'll flip to these big books. these I picked up at a vintage store, antique store we went to with the girls. We had a lovely Devonshire tea afterwards. We'd rummaged through this. Oh, this place was like going back in time. It was at Smythesdale. If you've watched part 2, you'll see me crossing the street heading into that store. I didn't end up doing a lot of filming in there because it was so packed with furniture and bits, and I thought, if I knock anything over, glassware teetering on every shelf, I thought, no, focus on just walking a straight line, Corinne, without wrecking anything. But I did pick up these books and some other things. They're just here. Volume 1 and Volume 2. They're just so gorgeous. My plan eventually is to add needlework to them. Like, they will become needlework covers, and being their Volume 1 and 2, I thought, yeah, I just have to take them. This is just adorable. The text, we were reading it a little bit, and like 1880 is when they came. So that was like, hold the farm, don't rip the print text or the block out of the centre for your cover yet. I thought I might because of the weight on my luggage, but I end up carrying these in my backpack, and my weight for my suitcase was fine. So they are still intact. They're going to stay intact. And they're going to sit on my coffee table because this is just hilarious. It's like a social commentary on everything that's happening. So it goes from medical, it goes from how you should behave, how to behave with the government, the history of Rome, the history of Britain, personality types. It is just the history of the Bible. It's just history of Hinduism, and then it's just... we were reading on how to be demure and what is the definition of being demure. It's just one of those things that I think it'll become a coffee table read. I think when visitors come, they'll pick it up and they'll deep dive into what it was like to think, like, what's that, parasites, is it? Flatworms, oh my goodness. See what I mean? It is just, now we're into physics, light and sound. I guess when you didn't have Google, these are Google. So I just love them. I have a distinct feeling they may never get broken down, but look at the spines. They're just beautiful. So they came home with me. A bit of a find. I'll pop that away for future adventures. Let's go through the old things first. So Susanna had a pop-up shop there. So I picked up a few little elements that sort of inspired me for future projects. So I've got this little one. This is a tea towel. I sort of felt like this was the Jemima puddle duck. Where is that fabric? I'm going to put it with it because I thought for a base, for a slow stitch piece. Right, look at that. If that's not Jemima, so that and that can sit together. I found, what else have I got here? Oh, I've got these little peacocks. They're machine embroidered. There's them different colours. I think someone else said they picked up one, so there was 6. Jean Ann, I think you said you had one. I just think they're so pretty. Like, really, really different. So those have come home to me for a future something something. Where did I pick these things up? So we were at the antique markets. We were at a French vintage store with 2 of them. And we were at, I don't know, where were we? Oh, some of these things are mine in here. Those threads went with me, so they need to go back into my stash. I picked up these tapestry threads. Now I have heaps of tapestry threads from my grandmother. Like, I'm talking a massive container. But there's colours in there that just are so browns and dark oranges and very earthy. And every time I go there to look for something, I just don't see anything that is potentially useful. So when I saw that little pack at one of the vintage places, I thought that's great. There's probably more chance of using those tones these days for me. So I got those and some braid. Now the other thing I picked up was this little guy. Now it's a candle holder. It was at the Smythesdale store, and I thought, perfect. I was gifted by Vanessa last time we got together 3 felt balls. Now let me grab them. So I've got a blue and a pink and the pale pink. So I've been looking for things that they can go into, and I've found this little egg cup, and this one fits beautifully in there. It's nice and tight. So gorgeous little pin cushion for tight spaces. And then when I saw this opening, I thought, oh, hello, I bet a felt ball will fit in there. So this little felt ball is going to be pushed into there, little pin cushion, and I can put my threads and things on there as I move around the house. And I just need one more little container. So that's what that's all about. If you're wondering why is she collecting random things like that. Now, fabrics and textiles, secondhand. These are all from the gorgeous Susanna. Gorgeous. And then she had some little napkins. Beautiful linen. So they'll be treasured. Look at these little guy. Isn't that pretty? Just got Jemima Puddle Duck on my mind. Gorgeous colours. So a couple of more of those treasures for the stash. This is a piece of modern linen, 100% cotton, country road, made in India. And they were obviously handed into a thrift store, and Susanna's got her hands on them, and she had them there. And they're just beautiful. I love the colour. Really handy for background fabrics. So I picked up those. This is unusual. We thought it was a cross stitch at first, but it's a printed cross stitch. So I don't know. We couldn't decide if we were meant to stitch it, or it's just give you the impression that it is a stitched cross stitch. And I thought that's a colour I don't usually have in my stash. So great for a project. Who knows when? See, we can justify these things. This is an old embroidery. Very pretty, very subtle. Love it. It's good having a buddy that has dedicated herself to these finds. It saves me a lot of time. There we go. And I also purchased this one from her. It's a hand towel with just a pretty edge. Like that could go with Jemima, couldn't it? I think we might. Let's put that with the lovely Jemima. Oh, hear that? That's thunder building as this storm from the cyclone elf rolls across us all. So that's my Jemima pile. Now, one of the girls, now who was it? I think it was Linda, was standing next to me at the counter waiting to be served, and there was a tray of buttons, and she spotted these. They are gorgeous. Itty bitty buttons on the cardboard. Look at that. They're tiny. Like you can see a fingernail there. Shell, they feel cold. So I thought they were a bit special. What have we got here? Oh, these were just some bits and bobs that the girls, this was out of a pack that Jeanette, I think, bought a big bag of fabric, and we placed a scissors next to it, and everyone could just help themselves. So that's a handy piece. These are little elements that I picked up at vintage stores. Just little cutie doilies, perfect for going into needle books. Just going to remove the tags as we go. Isn't that unusual? Put it up the right way, Corinne. sort of now at the stage where I look for things that are unusual, because I've got enough of, you know, the generic doilies. So I'm always on the hunt for, I guess, colour. That could go with the Jemima pile, couldn't it? Let's pop that over there. Look at this. I remember doing this at school. Drawn thread work and then stitching into it. I'm sure I've got a piece somewhere that I did. Home economics. I love these pieces where there's this neutral embroidery onto the cream lace. So I got a couple of those. They weren't cheap, but I don't know, sometimes you get things that are so cheap and you're like, yay, and then other things you're like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. But I think, unfortunately, that's the time we live in, isn't it? I know I'll get value out of that. Just gorgeous. Look at this for an unusual piece. I'm very much look for shapes in crocheting, because they can become, you know, a feather or a wave in the ocean. So that's why I sort of pick up pieces like that. This was just pretty, gives you lots of little flowers. I'm sure I've got this already somewhere in my stash, but I couldn't leave that one behind. It was really cheap, it was like 50 cents or something. Had to come home with me. This is an unusual one. Once again, something different, rectangular. I started looking for pieces too that have got fabric in them. I've just got, I don't know, I feel like I need to collect pieces. I've got a bit of an idea floating around in my head, and where there's fabric worked into a lace doily, that maybe I can do something on that there. I don't know. That's how I justified it. So I seem to, at the Smythesdale antique store, I picked up pieces that had that set up. Look at all the crocheting there. Just so fine. And then there's the piece in the centre. So, I don't know. Something told me I should pick up these with that element in them. So I did. Who knows? Careful. A couple more that are joined, or are they? What is this? I thought that was two, but it's not. Okay, so they've crocheted a double edge. Isn't that unusual? Never seen that before. Like, it sort of feels and looks like Aida cloth for cross stitch, but I don't think it is. It's not double itself, but the edge is. How unusual. This little one here is another one with fabric in the centre. So fine, so thin. A little tray cloth. These are just so handy. A little flower. I was stitching the blue Liberty fabrics, so I sort of saw that little hanky and I thought, you know what, that would work well as an element on the blues and pinks and things like that. So that's why that caught my eye. I'm going to pop that over near my Liberty pile. And this did too. This edge sort of felt like it belonged to that project, so that's going to go over there. Now I'm into just general doilies. So what did we pay? $4. See, that's really good. So I don't mind when you get something for $4, but then the next piece is $6 and it's a third of the size. There's no rhyme or reason. It sort of seems to balance out in the end. Look at these. How's that for bang for your buck? There's 3 in every corner. And I thought that is good. And some little age spots just to remind us that it's had a life. Put you in there. I'll show you this one last because this just, I thought, wow. Love this. I love the fact that I've got some coloured crocheting. This is very Jemima. And then this beautiful white embroidery with highlights of pink. And that's double-sided, $7. Great for a future something. Tell you, we buy for the future. So happy with that. This one here, I think I already have this, and but in a bigger version. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that would be handy to work in with another piece, and that gives me some finer little elements. It's all blanket stitch. It's so cute. I haven't had a little doily haul like this for ages. And I was last into the shed. I thought, oh, I'll just hang back, let the girls go for it and pick over the scraps. And I was like, oh, wow, I feel like I've done all right and haven't missed out. $6 for the irises. Where were you when I was doing field notes? How gorgeous. Love the little stitch around the outer edge. That is the finest crocheting too. Very pretty. This is unusual. I nearly didn't pick it up because I thought, oh, I don't know. I was sort of like, I've got enough, and some of the girls were starting to double back around behind me, and I thought, oh, just stop, let it be that pile. There was a few piles of doilies. And then I thought, you know what? It's just different. Absolutely different. I love the pansy. Where were you when I was chasing pansies? But this little image here of the lady with the parasol. Crinoline lady. Is it technically a crinoline lady? It's definitely inspired by that. And it's the tiniest little cross stitches. Let me bring it up to the, look at her. Just beautiful. This one here, $5, so that's pretty good. Lots of little sprays of flowers, perfect for building up layers within a collaged piece. Are they big? Like, you just don't see big ones like this. Look at that. I think that's so pretty. Just gorgeous. How much for you? See, $9. It doesn't make sense. That, I feel like, is probably pushing my boundaries. And then you get something for $5, similar size. I think this one was $5. That is pretty. Very pretty. Show you the right way. Just gorgeous. And I'm not a big orange fan, but I do like an autumn toned embroidery. Now, what else have we got? We've got a pin here, $4. This is a trim / lace on, feels like silk, but you've got to do the light test, you know, where you burn it to see what it does. But we're not going to give Corinna a burning device. It'll go pear-shaped for sure. I've already had one bushfire for the week. That's enough. So I'm really pleased with this lace. I believe I got it from the French shop. Just gorgeous. Really pretty. It's fraying like anything. Maybe that means it's synthetic, possibly. Now this beauty here. Now Susanna came across a doily caddy, and she had 2, if I remember rightly. She showed me about a month ago, and she used one as a giveaway at the retreat. So we had like tickets, and you draw the ticket out and you might win a treasure. And I can't remember who won caddy now. I don't know. Oh, so much has happened. Yeah, it's gone. Susanna kept one. One was gifted, and then at the antique, there was 3 or 4 of them piled up on a table, and a couple of the other girls picked one up, and I saw this one and I thought, you know, I really like this. It's simple. It's got its little ties. It's vintage, and if you're wondering what it does, you pop your doilies in here and it just keeps them safe. It's the most gorgeous thing. You can see the hand sewing around the outer edge, a little hinge that she's stitched here, and then she's put the chocolate braid on the other side. And I don't know, what's the cardboard? There's something blue printed in under there. Just, it's a calendar, I think. What's that? F-R-A-N-K, Frank. I think it's a calendar. I think it's a calendar. I can just make it out. You guys probably can't see it. There's like blue. See the Frank there? Anyway, we're not going to unpick it to see. I just thought it was gorgeous. I just loved it. So that's my vintage finds. Now I will show you one more piece. This is adorable. Look at this. Now what caught my eye is not only the work here, but this is actually the back. Look at this. If that's not just beautiful. So what I think it is turkey work. And they're poppies, because we've got all of the stitches on the back here. And when I picked it up, I saw this and I thought, gee, that's unusual embroidery. That's pretty intense. It reminds me of work that Fleur does to create texture. And I thought, aren't you lot pretty? And then when I was standing in the queue, so obviously the threads, when wet, are bleeding. Oh, there's some thunder. We're about to get pummelled. Bandit's looking at me going, Mom. Oh, you flip it over and you've got this beautiful velour-like feel of all of the threads that have been stitched. Isn't it beautiful? That worked into a piece saves me thousands of hours. So what did I pay for that? $8. Definitely worth the $8. I've never seen anything like it. Well, I've never seen turkey work on a doily. It's so beautiful. And then they've made tatting for the side. Isn't that pretty? Very unusual. If anyone knows anything about this type of piece, was it a thing? I'm pretty sure it's not machine made. Yeah, no, I can see the stitches are quite random. Imagine stitching it all and then right at the very end, you get to trim all of the loops and then shave it to create this raised piece. I can't stop touching it. It feels so beautiful. And when I look at this side, they sort of look like they've got a silk thread here. It's got a bit of a shimmer about it. Love it. Just love it. Okay, so that's my vintage finds. Let me just shut that out of the way. The last 2 piles. Oh no, there's another pile. This is all from Gail's Patchwork Emporium. So we have French General. This is the new range. I believe it has been out for like 9 months. So for those of you in countries where this is old news, lucky you. It takes us up to 9 months to get new ranges from some of these designers. So there's the brand and the name of the pack. There was at least 15 bolts of fabric, and I'd left the shop and I saw it on the veranda. I was like, oh my goodness, French General. It had just arrived. It was still wrapped in plastic. So a few of us girls just picked a few colours out. I think it was Jean Ann next to me. I'm not sure who, oh, I don't know. Picked a completely different range from the pack, and it's just beautiful with more of the blue as the background, where I went the beige as the background and the dark blue, and it was just a random You've Coming Home With Me beautiful fabric. Gail sells lots of trims, and one of the girls was walking around with the bobbin with this trim on it, and I thought, you're a handy little element to have in the stash. So that's being added to my trims. This fabric caught our eye. Quite a few of us chomped into this. Just hold that up to the camera if it's something that's interests you. I think it's Cosmo Textile Company, designed and printed by, and of course I don't have the bloomin' name on the selvage. But take a screenshot and then go to Google and use that photo in Google, and it'll take you straight to the fabric. Now, there was a creamy version with these same flowers, and then there was another colour, I think, a pinky tone. I thought, how pretty. Very pretty. I think it's Vanessa. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. The girls will be, no, that was me, Corinne. They will not be surprised that I've forgotten all the detail. So that was at Gail's. Now, this was a pretty little lace that I saw at Gail's. I thought it was just adorable. So that's Come Home With Me. Now, I'll come back to these Japanese fabrics because, like usual, there's a story attached to them. Just drop one on the floor. This was another trim that Gail had. I just thought it was so beautiful, and I'd found these birds. There's two of them. I don't know where the other one is. Tell me I lost it. It'll be somewhere. I had visions. Like, I don't know if I'll ever film this project, but it just gave me an idea. This beautiful wide trim, I think, would be a beautiful base for a snippet roll. And then these birds appeared in my hand. I don't know how that happened. There's two of them, like I just said. So stitching and lace and more elements added. What a great little project. So if you've got a beautiful trim in the cupboard, pull it out and create a stitched piece using that as your base. So that was my idea there. Put it in the one day you'll do it pile. This was something that I picked up. Maytime is the brand. Gail's put together these packs. This was the pink and blue, but she had brights. She had neutrals into autumns, and then she also had embroidery threads on them. An Australian company, Maytime silk ribbons. And I thought, what a gorgeous pack of colours for a project. You could just base your whole colour palette. Use that as your base and go and pull your fabrics to suit and your embroidery threads. Just gorgeous. So I thought that was lovely. I had a real theme going. Oh, I tend to do that. I go in with a colour theme, and then that limits my exposure to random purchases. So Gail's Patchwork Emporium, based in Ballarat. Just gorgeous. Established in 1981. Thousands of items in there. So credit to you, Gail. Gail always comes up to the retreat too and hangs out with us for an hour or so. And it's a real treat. Okay, Hare's Nest Stitchery. Now, I picked up a couple packs from Gail last year, and when I did my retreat down there, and it was like a little zippy bag with a bunny on it, and I worked on that as I sort of did the retreats with everyone. So I picked up these two. They're not cheap, but I don't know, I just think they're not bad value. So my thoughts with pieces like this that have the images on them already is stitch them, and then you've got elements for future projects. So that's how I treat something like this. Little bunnies looking into the distance. Big bunny. they're just, I think, handy morsels. Yes, they can be made into a quilt for a little person, potentially, a baby blanket. Bunnies jumping. Now, the news we heard, which I think I did mention in a previous video, is this brand is no longer. They are retiring, the ladies that are doing it. So Gail, who knows them, has purchased their remaining inventory. So all of the elements that are left are available from Gail. So if there's a particular one, like one of the girls said, I've been waiting for their website to be restocked because I want to order whatever it was. And Gail said, oh, you won't be able to. All of the stock is with me now. And they managed to find the one she was missing so she could grab it. So if you were waiting on Hare's Nest Stitchery to restock, it's not going to. Contact Gail and she can have a look through her stash to see if she's got it and she can, you know, send it out to you. That's why I bought these two. This one is houses, is the theme. So there's 17 little images on this panel. There are a couple quilts in Gail's store showing them made into something. Look at that. You stitch them in one thread. And reading the instructions, I was at the airport having a read of it. Colour changing thread really makes them pop. So then it's not so cartoon-like. You've got this wash of colours going over your piece, which just makes it so interesting. Now, I've also got the birds. There's all these kooky birds sitting on sewing pieces, like thimbles and cotton reels, and it's gorgeous too. And I used one somewhere. I think I put it on a needle book, didn't I? Oh, Jennifer Clouston's pattern. One of the little birds I stitched and it went on to that as a feature element. So that's how I look at these types of things. Now, like I said, the investment is over $100, but when there's 17 little pieces, that's not too bad. Well, you know, there was a bit of buyer's guilt there. Did I need to spend that much money? Probably not, but I did. But I must say, I love the designs. There are no more. They're forever gone. So, hoarding them. Oh my goodness, I tell you. Now, Japanese fabrics. Gail has a range of these Japanese textiles. Every time I go there, I pick up a couple packs. And I haven't yet worked out a project for them. I'm drifting between quite a few colours. And this time, these were the colours. Now, I'm going to pause the video because I want to grab some books and I'll tell you a little story. Back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. So, to the lovely lady I was sitting next to on the plane. We didn't exchange names. Or did we? I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think we did. We just got chatting about sewing, and she's a quilt maker. And I was telling her what I do, and we just had a lovely little chat. And we both connected on this style of fabric from Japan with this texture about it. And I said, oh, Gail's. And she said, yes, I got mine from Gail's. She saw it in Japan, and then it was at Gail's at Ballarat. And I said, every time I'm there, I pick up something. And I was telling her about these books. So anyone who knows all about this, plug your ears. This is for me mate on the plane. This is the books, the bag one and pouches. It's just gorgeous, using these fabrics. And then more bags. Just gorgeous. And then this is the quilt one. Oh, I was trying to describe it, and I just said, look, I'll grab the books when I do my video and you can see the beauty. I just love it. Absolutely love it. Don't know what I'm going to do with my fabrics yet, as I said, but just so inspired by them. So there you go. Look at that. Oh, stop. These are great for instructions on how to construct bags that are just a little bit different. So that's why I love these two. And then that's just yumminess. I think I've got another one somewhere, but I'm just not sure. So yeah, one day soon I will get myself going with something in that vein. Now, let's just grab this. We're nearly there. So in the video, we went to the antique bazaar at Castlemaine, and Susanna spotted this little sewing basket, and I thought, you are just adorable, and it came home with me. Inside are some treasures, some from the antique market. That's a trim. I thought this trim actually might work. Hang on, I'm just grabbing. I thought the trim might be nice on my vase. That's what came to mind. I haven't had a chance to see if that's a great idea or not. I just felt like I could add some detail just to give it a pop of something. See what I mean? Like where the base, I'd stitch it down just to add a little extra element to the piece. So that's what I'm thinking of using this trim. I wouldn't say the colour is perfect, but as I'm in the early stages of bringing this piece alive, I could pick up some of those tones of blue and work them into the flower, so it sort of did make sense. I'm liking the look of that. I think it's too wide, but I think I can potentially fold it. So I am thinking along the lines of trimming. That was a bit of rickrack that popped up. I won't be adding that rickrack to it. Here's some lace. There's my little cigarette holder that I found. Isn't she adorable with that needlework, petite point or petite point? Just beautiful. And I'm going to say it's on silk or something. It's gone, oh, it's gone a bit skew with. Should we open this? It looks, is there something else in there? What is going on under there? Could you imagine if there's like a little note? I need like a screwdriver or something. I don't have a screwdriver. Might be just the fact that the fabric has moved. It's like it's been opened. I think there's a screwdriver under my sink. All right, pause on the video. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Just gently prising this up. I don't know if I need to do all of them. I might just be able to slip this out just a little bit. Let's have a look. I'll be putting it back together because it's just adorable. Has anyone seen one of these before, and what era? I'd love to know. I could do the Google trick where I take a photo of it and pop it into the Google search. Come on. Come on. There we go. I can give that a clean now. It's pretty grimy in there. Look at that. Gosh, it's faded. That's the back. And that's the front. Wow. What a difference. So there you go. There's my little treasure. Shall give that a good clean and reinstate her. So that's the French shop I went to. I'll show you those few purchases in a moment. Actually, there's some in here. That was a lace that I picked up at that French shop. I think that was too. Found some monograms with the letter C. That was a must. I had a big basket of lace that I rummaged through at the French shop. So I picked up some more lovely little morsels. I keep these separate because I know they're old and they're from potentially my shopping days when I went to Paris. I tend to not include them in my general work. It'll be a special piece that is connected to, you know, vintage trims. Look at that little one. So pretty. Gee, it's pouring rain now. So yeah, this is all French laces. Is that cute? Little trim. And there's a funny smell here. Don't know what it is. There's something in here. This I found at the antique vintage market. I'm guessing it's to keep a teapot warm, would be my thought. Some more little trims. This is Gale. I'll go with all my little bits and bobs. So I had a real colour scheme, didn't I? I always seem to do that. This was at Gale's and all the girls were grabbing a chunk of that. Isn't that just super cool for foliage? And some of them actually bought it last year. I think Merle, you were sitting next to me and you had a little piece of it. Or someone, maybe it was Jean Ann, I don't know. Once again, can't remember the detail. There's my other bird. It's a little swallow. That's Gail's Patchwork Emporium. These were trims at the antique mall. Not bad, they were just $2. Very pretty. And then this one, and of course the blue one. Really reasonably priced. And some lace. And a lovely little crocheted edge, $2. That'll be really handy. When I get back from my travels, I'm making my box for my retreats that are in July. It's going to be this rather large timber box that's going to have little houses made and put around it. The little houses need guttering, fences and trims. So for those of you who are coming, I've got plenty of fabrics. Definitely, fabrics is not an issue. Plus, we're also at So at Beck's store, which is a fabric store. So fabric's not an issue. What I don't have a lot of, and I'll probably never find enough of in the meantime, is little trims. So if you're watching and you're coming to the retreat, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this already, start building up a little pile of little bits that can trim your houses, even some little rickrack, you know, just little like garden fences and trees, like little things like that would make a great tree. So yeah, I just thought I'll just mention it, like things like that. I wish I had a heap of it, but I just don't. So yeah, if you are coming to the retreat, lace is something that I just can't find enough of. So bring with you, some of these were like little gifts too from Gail, some buttons. Bring with you some fine little picket fence guttering looking laces. So I found this guy. He is a beauty. Look at this. And I think this might be my last feed sack, flour sack, rolled oats to go on my Just Because quilt. I've got one more block to do. And he's a beauty because he is double-sided. I think it was like $5. They had a heap of them there. Let me get that staple out. So Just Because quilt is 1 block from the finish line. Very exciting. So that's what I got from the antique mall. I'll just pop all that back there, mate. I think that's what smells. Yeah, need to give that a wash. Whew, it's got a scent about it. Now, last things, the French store. Oh my goodness. Very happy with my finds there. Firstly, the little business next door picked up these 2 doilies. Look at her. Just gorgeous. And I picked up this supper cloth, tea towel, hand towel. Beautiful edge, beautiful damask, very old, and it has a monogram on it. It's a K. Just thought that was really sweet, and it was really reasonably priced. Reminds me of the piece that the girls gave us at the Roxy stitching retreat that we did at Christmas. Just a beautiful big piece of linen, and then you collage onto it. So I got one of those. They had heaps there, but just couldn't find a letter that was connected to me, so I just picked a pretty one. This here is huge. This is a massive feed sack of hemp. It is so gorgeous. This would be, if the bottom of this was on the floor and I held it up, it'd come to my nose. Double-sided, as it is a sack that would have been filled with something. Look at the little stitches there. It's been repaired, so there's patches. It's a bit on the grungy side, needs a bit of a clean. So I'll just pop that over there. And it was really reasonably priced, even to what I saw in Paris. So that was a bonus. Didn't have to go to Paris to get it. Now this, she's a beauty. This is ticking from France. I got a big piece of it. It's come off of a mattress or furnishings, or I don't know. She said it was, she called it ticking, and I think it's beautiful. I love this gradient black in it. It's full of holes and tatty edges. Look at this. Seriously. It's just so yummy. And I got probably 2 meters of it. Look at this edge. How's that? For just little pieces of beauty. It looks really bright on the screen, but it's not. That's, for you, looks so vibrant, but it's not. It's a more of a softer red. So that was probably my find of the week. I don't know what I'll do with it. It might be something that I use in the future as part of a stitching retreat, or I don't know. These bigger pieces of fabric, I'm just pop them in the cupboard for a rainy day, because yeah, it's nice to have something a little bit special to do a project with. Even the backing of something like a quilt. Gosh, imagine that on the back of my Gosling quilt. I think it'd probably fall apart. I'd have to, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, just a brain idea. Okay, I think that's it. I might say goodbye, and anyone who's in southeast Queensland, stay safe. We're in for a lot of rain and a lot of flash flooding, and oh my goodness, it's just crazy what's going on at the moment. But stay safe, high and dry, and look after yourselves. Everyone else, have a great week, and I will see you around. There's some pre-recorded videos for you coming. There won't probably be any Roxy videos. It's all going to come down to my internet access and what I can do while in America. I'm hoping I can film some footage of my adventures and pop up some random videos for you, but stay tuned. They may all fall into place when I get back at the, I think I'm back at the first week of April. So we'll see. No pressure. All right, guys. Bye.